Hey guys, Jojo here, and welcome back to another movie review. And for this pick, I'm reviewing Ghostbusters 2, the sequel of the 1984 movie. Now, I've already reviewed. If you guys haven't seen the video, I've already I've already reviewed the original Ghostbusters, and if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But in a short sentence, I really enjoyed the Ghostbusters. While it may not be one of my favorite films of all time, it's still a really great movie. Movie with memorable cast of characters, iconic moments, and stuff in the movie and star humor. And like I said, it may not be one of my favorite films of all time, but I still think it's a really great movie. Ghostbusters 2, on the other hand, it is it's kind of a mixed bag. On one hand, it's a solid sequel, but on the other hand, it's kind of annoying. So, let's take a look at the plot of the film. The plot of the film is that 5 years after the events of the first film, the Ghostbusters has been sued and been put out of business after the destruction caused during their battle with Dean Zarkon. However, when a new paranormal threat emerges, the Ghostbusters reunite to combat it and save the world. And yes, and like the original one, the plot is really It's actually creative. The Ghostbusters get in trouble with the law, and now all of a sudden they have to reunite to save the world. That is a really good premise of a sequel to a classic film. Execution wise, I'm just gonna say that Ghostbusters 2 has probably been one of the most disappointing sequels of all time. That doesn't mean it's one of the worst sequels of all time. No, I still watch this movie over other films like Jurassic World Dominate or Transformers 4. However, Ghostbusters 2 kind of has some aspects that don't fit well with the Ghostbusters nature. Now, I will admit, I will get some positives out of the way. For starters, the OG cast returns. And of course, they're still very enjoyable. Also, and of course, this film is pretty faithful to its source materials because it still has elements that fit well with Ghostbusters, and I thought they still hold up. Oh yeah, and the songs here are also really creative. We get the original Ghostbusters theme song, but we also get some new songs that really fit well here. So yeah, it feels like most of the positives here kind of fit well with the Ghostbusters nature. Now on to probably my biggest problem with this video. Now we probably get to my biggest problem with this film. While the original Ghostbusters was mostly about smart pacing and dark humor, Ghostbusters 2 has that, but it tries to be more comedic, and it worked, and for the most part it kind of works. But however, if they're gonna keep with this whole comedic nature, it kind of gets a little annoying. And sadly, that's throughout the entire movie. We just keep getting unnecessary quirky dialogue with the characters, and some of them don't even make sense. It doesn't help that some of the it doesn't help that that they start off funny, but then as they just progress, they start to get a little annoying. What made Ghostbusters really amazing was once again the smart pacing, its memorable cast of characters, and its dark humor. However, this movie, they just seem to strip all that away just to be more goofy and comedic, and it just doesn't work for the most part. It worked for at the beginning, but then it just kind of declined later on. Especially when the humor can get hammer up a bunch. Also, I found Peter kind of flanderized in this movie. Well, as he seemed to focus more on other stuff than rather the whole Ghostbusters team. And yes, while he was a bit goofy in the original, he still had moments where he still had some moments where he is actually serious for once. It doesn't, but here his delivery here just didn't really hit well for me. And sure, he does have some funny moments, especially with the baby, which I meant the scenes with the baby are pretty cute and funny. But then there's the showdown, the final showdown, and compared to the original, it was kind of disappointed, and it just came across as bland and generic. Eric, I mean, yeah, it was cool to see the Statue of Liberty move, but the rest of but the showdown itself was just kind of disappointing. It was kind of bland. How, however, that said, Ghostbusters 2 still has elements to the original film that is faithful, but honestly, just wasn't enough. Some of it was enough to save the movie, but not enough to say it's good. So overall, Ghostbusters 2 isn't that good. It isn't a bad movie. It's not a bad movie, and I admit it's pretty faithful to its source material. However, had it not been focused on being comedic and funny, and however, had it not been trying to be focused more on the comedic humor and trying to be funny, this would have been a really good sequel. But as it is, I'm gonna give Ghostbusters 2 a 6 out of 10. I'm only gonna give it a 6 out of 10 is while the whole comedic humor doesn't fit well. Again, there are some elements that are faithful to the original film, so that and kind of save the film a bit. But then, if you're a fan of Ghostbusters, you might like this. However, I just go watch the original Ghostbusters. Again, it's not a bad movie, but it just it just wasn't that good. So guys, that's it for my review on Ghostbusters 2, which means I reviewed the entire Ghostbusters franchise. That's pretty shocking. But I did it. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and be sure to tune in for more movie reviews. And I'll see you guys next time. Happy Halloween and adios.